Good morning, Baltimore! Sorry, I just saw Hairspray with the kids. By the way, random tangent, squirrel moment before we get into the podcast. Hairspray, I'm not really big into musicals, but that movie, for some reason, is good. It has John Travolta is Edna Turnblad, and the way she, the way her character is so funny to me. So funny to me. She's like, Tracy, don't test me. My dot pill's wearing off. Not another word. I just think she's so funny. Welcome to the podcast. I've got my ring light on. I've got the starlight on. And I've got Bobbert the Buck right there. Shout out to him. So let's get into the podcast, shall we? We'll start this one with Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. I've always known him as the bald man who cleaned up messes when I was a kid. That's how the 90s were for me. But there's been like a reinvention of him, I should say a reincarnation of him. And he's a lot sexier to a lot of people. He's got still the bald head, but he's like more fit, more toned, wears a lot of tight shirts. He happens to be in all white. I don't know why, because if you're cleaning stuff, that's the worst thing you can do. But maybe that's what they want from Mr. Clean, to show that white will stay white and stays clean. Anyway, I digress. Drew Barrymore says she does not find Mr. Clean sexy. She says, quote, "It's like he's pumped and ready for action, and I feel uncomfortable when I see him because he's so sexual." Drew, what's going on with you? Ooh, kind of a morbid story with this one. So, a judge ruled that pictures and video of Gene and Betsy Hackman's bodies cannot be released to the public. My question is who's asking for that? I've seen some celebrity photos post-mortem, and they are disturbing to me. Actually, I was on Facebook yesterday, and for some reason, some pop group that I follow, put Michael Jackson in his casket. He was like in a solid gold casket, and it just was disturbing to see to me. I don't like seeing dead bodies. That seems weird to me. But among those opposing the release was 95-year-old Gene's mother-in-law. So once again, I don't understand what the fascination is with death. And can we just talk about that for a second? Because I think wakes to me are a complete travesty of how to deal with death and how to grieve. And you can feel free to weigh in the comments. But for me, seeing my loved one who was just alive a few days ago, all done up, and in their pretty outfit or handsome outfit, whatever it is that they're buried with, in a casket laying down just lifeless, there's just something creepy for me. Now, I will say, when I did my radio show, there was a lot of options for alternative things to burial. So one of them is being I was going to say marinated. Buried in a mushroom pod, which gets buried into the earth and creates like a patch of mushrooms. Luke Perry was one of the celebrities that opted for that. I think that's beautiful because he's giving back to the earth. His body will be. There's also, I'm totally down for this one. There's a process where you can actually get cremated, and then they ship your ashes into space. Totally love that idea. I've always wanted to go to space, and how cool to become space dust. But the third one is really, really what I'm rooting for, but I think it's like thousands of dollars to do it. It's to be mummified, and you have your own tomb that's made in your likeness, kind of like King Tut. And I don't know if you know anything about me. I love monster movies. I love horror movies. I love The Wolfman, but I also love The Mummy. So to be able to be a mummy, and, if there's some ancient curse that brings me back and I come to wreak havoc on my enemies, why not? Don't know if you remember this story, but I told you there was a Coyote versus Acme movie. I don't know who would want to watch this, but Warner Brothers shelved the project. It wasn't going to be released, and all these people were like, no, release it. We want to see it. I don't know who those people are, all 1,000 of them who signed the digital online petition. But Warner Brothers has sold Coyote versus Acme to a company called Ketchup Entertainment, so it'll be hitting theaters after all. Just no word on when it's going to happen, but I mean, aren't the cartoons enough? We always know what happens. John Boyega, you know him as, I forget what his character is, but I know I loved him in Star Wars. He says Star Wars, quote, is the most whitest elite space, and said that fans have trouble with black characters playing leads. And I don't know if that's true, because I know Samuel Jackson played a Jedi in the 2000s, and I thought he kicked ass as a Jedi. He's just cool in whatever he does. But, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just a personal take on it, but I like seeing characters of all different backgrounds in Star Wars. Equality. Don't know if you saw this, but season 2 of The Last of Us premieres in less than 2 weeks. So a lot of people are excited about that because of Pedro Pascal. And one of the creators says the show will not go past the video games. Didn't even know it was a video game until now. But he doesn't know if it'll take 1 or 2 more seasons to finish the story. So if you're a fan of that show, yay for you. They canceled The Idol, which had The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp kind of playing like a distraught pop star, kind of like what Britney Spears is right now. And I love that show. And they canceled it after 1 freaking season, and it was so open. I'm going to go on a rant. See Jesus. Speaking of rants, Kanye West says he never wants kids with Kim Kardashian, and this was after he went on a rant. By the way, oh my goodness, I actually shared this on my personal Facebook page. If you want to give me a follow or add there, Bobby Kardashian Jenner. I'm not affiliated with the Kardashians. It was from my radio career because people can't know my real last name. Anyway, he says being married to Kim, he never wanted kids with Kim Kardashian, and that wasn't God's plan. By the way, he said this while he was interviewed in a black KKK outfit. The fabric was black colored. It's like the traditional KKK I don't even know how to say it. Ku Klux Klan. Anyway, they look like wizards to me. The one in black looked even worse. It looked like demonic or witch-like. So I don't know what the heck is going on with him, but I have my personal feelings on Kanye West. I know he's saying a lot of controversial things that are super out there and weird and horrible, but I think homeboy's in capacity to like hurt himself or do something crazy. So he needs to be in the hospital and under sedation or some sort of medication that will help him because he's off his rocker. And it just gets worse with the racism stories for pop culture because Justin Bieber, a video surfaced on Twitter of him yesterday when he was a child, by the way. And I'm not saying that kind of, forgives what he said, but he was basically singing the N-word for one of his songs, One Less Lonely Girl. But he said, one less lonely girl, one less lonely N-word. And he kept singing it over and over. And then he talked about being in the KKK. Somebody was in the background recording him laughing. It looked like he was doing interviews for a press junket. So I don't know why he was doing this. And a lot of people are like, Justin Bieber's canceled. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck to think anymore. I just will say this. When you do something on the internet, it lives on there forever. So just be careful what you say. Be careful who you comment to. And be careful who's watching and clocking you because there's a lot of people watching you out there that are willing to throw you under the bus. That was kind of a heated version of Bobby's Popcast, so I apologize for that. But man, it was fun. Wasn't it juicy, full of gossip and all that stuff and controversial things? As always, thank you for watching or streaming wherever you get your podcasts or popcasts. I'm on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and on all major socials at Bobby's Popcast. Thank you for watching, and I'll take out with my tagline, cut the check!